Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
No big deal. All right. So, a couple things before we dive right in. Sorry about the confusion with recording this week. Sarah and I went to Oak Island because Friday was our 13-year dating anniversary. We celebrate that. We celebrate that instead of our wedding anniversary because our wedding anniversary is her birthday weekend. So anyway, we celebrate that every year. Plus, it's also a better time to get a rental on Oak Island in November than September. So, yeah. So I had been planning on recording yesterday, and then Tuesday I get this email about big boss from Europe coming in, wants to do lunch or wants to do dinner with everybody. I RSVP yes, I tell you, and we schedule for tonight. And then yesterday around midday, I realized that the invite was for next week, and he's not in America yet. So after all that, it didn't even make sense.
Wednesday night, we usually go to wine tasting every Wednesday. We belong to the wine club at the wine bar, and that includes 6 individual tastings, so 3 couple tastings. So if we don't get to go the 3 times, we're losing money, because the wine club basically it's prepaying for those tastings. More or less. Yeah. Plus, you get a bottle of wine either free or at a serious discount, like up to like $40 is free. Anything that's more expensive, you get it. You pay the difference, kind of thing.
Nice.
But so Wednesday night we like to do that because Wednesday night it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but Wednesdays is when they have a food truck, so we like to go Wednesday. So you would have liked the food truck, by the way, because it was a 2-genre food truck. It was Portuguese and Massachusetts / New England, because that's where all the Portuguese in America live. It's real. So they were from Massachusetts, so they have some Massachusetts classics kind of on their menu, and they have Portuguese classics on their menu.
What is a Massachusetts classic?
Shit.
I know.
I don't know. I just know their website said,
What was the name of it? Do you remember?
I'm checking right now. Go to
probably like seafood, Massachusetts shit, or
it could be like
Boston baked beans. Oh, I got a good story for patrons while you're looking up.
The name of the place is the Portable Portuguese. Portuguy.
Yeah, if you're from Massachusetts, though, you'd call it. I don't know. I feel like it feels like a slur when they say it this way, but they say Portuguese.
Yeah. So this is the place that's Portuguese.
Yeah.
So on their thing, it said something about a combination of New England favorites and. So I'm looking at it. So it's Portuguese, but there's a sloppy Joe, peri chicken, Bafana, and then like wicked Bafana. Look at that. A couple of different kind of hot dogs, mushroom Swiss meatloaf burger, Rocky Point clam cakes, fries. Yeah, I mean the menu changes. It's a food truck, so it kind of changes each time too.
Cool.
The menu is clearly just printed like a Kinko's, and in different times you go, the menu's different depending on what they feel like making and what they get ingredients for. But nice. We've had food from them twice. I had a pork chop of theirs, and then like a steak sandwich yesterday with a fried egg on it. Both were very, very tasty.
Nice.
And their peri fries were super spicy, spicy for me. Not each bite, but like trying to eat an entire thing of fries. By the end, it's like builds up really hot.
Yeah.
Nice. It's nice.
Nice. That sounds good. I'm hungry.
Yeah. So
all right. So let's wrap this up now, so we can eat.
Yeah. All right. So you know what? Food is my happy place. I was just gonna say it.
And that's partly why I brought up the Oak Island. That's Sarah's happy place. I like it, but it's Sarah's happy place.
Yeah, the beach in general would be Madhavi's choice as well. I'm more of a mountains person.
Yeah. Yeah, so listeners, if you haven't guessed, that's our topic for today: is happy places.
Because we're happy.
My answer is going to be super douchey.
Because you're a super douche.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, we all know it.
A little bit douche. You got to be a little less douche. Can you be a little less douche? Be a little less douche.
I'll write it back to a 9 on the douche scale.
The douche.
Anyway, skadoosh. So my answer is that my happy place is the next place the next new adventure. Like I love California and I love Italy. I don't know that I would call them my happy place. Maybe California. I think part of it is that I haven't spent the kind of time you need to spend. Like like you go to a beach house and you rent it a week for every year, and you go kind of you get into that comfortable spot in a certain place. Like you get
Mm-hmm.
comfortable at home, you get comfortable in a vacation home, or even one that you rent every once in a while. When we go to California, we're on a mission to do a bunch of different things, and I've done several of those things several times because I think I've been to California 7 or 8 times now. But I haven't like just chilled out. I haven't like been like, oh, let's go rent a house or apartment in Venice and surf all week or whatever. So I haven't had, and I would say the same thing with the Italy. The 2 times I've been to Italy, I haven't had a spot where it's like this is my content.
Yeah, I think for it to become your happy place, I think Sarah is right. In her Oak Island, you have to be a place you go regularly, and you have to go there
Yeah.
enough that you have all these associations with it as soon as you're there, or even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And just one trip someplace. I mean, your imaginary Italy in your mind can be a happy place you go to in your head, but it's not the real thing.
Right.
This is the happy place. It's just the idea of it becomes one in that case.
Yeah, I do want to get rich enough to make one of those places my happy place.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Hey, California, you don't have to be rich; just have to move there and live in some shit ass town, not in the big city.
Yeah. And hear about this is why I'm going to move to Texas.
Let's see if we can draw a line around this city and make it part of Oregon, and then it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife is similar to yours in that beach is her thing. Like she wants to be near the ocean. She wants to, even if it's the middle of the winter, she likes to go to the beach and just like go like take off her shoes. And since we're in North Carolina in the middle of the winter, you can walk out usually up into your knees in the water. Not swimming. And that's her high place. I'm more of a give me a hammock in the out in a cabin in the woods where I can just even outside of my backyard, not bad. Where I just hear bird song and woods noises and smell trees, and that's kind of my relaxation. I'm happy. And I grew up in New York City, but with a summer house in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. That's about 100 miles away, and that's where my summers were. So my joy filled summers as a kid was up in the mountains in the Poconos. And then that's that. So just that kind of experience brings me back to those days, and it was just 2 months of hanging out with my friends.
Yeah. Given that, now that I've heard you just say that, my parents had a place in New Hampshire. So to give you a little idea, it's in the woods in a little town you've never fucking heard of. But the front of their property was in New Hampshire. The back of their property was in Maine. And we would go up. Yeah. Well, I mean, Maine, because Maine comes down to like a sliver.
Yeah. So it's more of the west side city.
I think it was less than it was like 2 hours from Central Mass that we would drive up to get there. So
that's about what it took me to get to my house, which was about 100 miles. So probably a similar-ish event.
Yeah, and so we would go up there, and one of the things that I always tell Sarah, and Sarah's been up there a bunch, but Logan had only been up there when he was a baby up until we went up for the first time since he was a baby in September. No, October, early October. I always would tell them, like, there is nowhere on earth that you sleep better than in those cabins, and I don't know what it is. If it's the fresh air, or it's the only sounds are like chirps and like very like subtle woods, sounds.
See, I think that those sounds are something you need to be used to too, though. Because when I used to bring New Yorkers up to my house, they couldn't sleep because of all those weird noises, all those birds and bugs. What the hell? How do you sleep? And to me, it was like I could sleep in the street sounds of New York, and the cars honking their horn and sirens in the distance, because like that's background noise to me. And I can sleep in the mountains with crickets and frogs and whatever else. But I noticed friends from either place, bringing them to one or the other place made them not able to sleep because that wasn't their background noise.
Yeah. So this will be a $10 patron thing. Now that we have a couple of $10 patrons. If you want to become a $10 patron, you can go on patreon.com talking about the big stuff, or you can also just become a $3 patron. They get some exclusive stuff too. And you can also be a $3 subscriber on iTunes. All right, back to the non-patron feed. So anyway,
hey, non-patrons, when you hear us say so anyway, you missed a good story.
Yep. Yeah. Honestly,
fork out the money.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think that while I think what we've been growing our listenership slowly but surely, but I think that the patron feed has been getting really, really good. There's a lot of good stuff there for patrons. So, and as if we start getting some regular patrons in, we can set new goals and stuff. So, before I forget, even though it's not really on topic, I've been taking part in National Novel Writing Month, and I have written 75 pages in the last 9 days. I feel pretty fucking good about that.
Very fucking good.
I think my happy place is probably my head when it's in the right mode.
I have a
it's
question.
My brain, and I live in it.
I have a question about your head and happy places.
Yeah.
Pour moi. I think one of the reasons I say like we have a nice little screened-in porch. I've got a nice little hammock that I have outside. So for me, in the evening, I can go out there and just close my eyes and picture that I'm in the mountains because I get the right sound effects in the background. So being able to visualize that brings me to my happy place. Even in stressful times, it becomes a stress break. I've done it working from home a lot now. I'll go out in the afternoon, at 3:00, take a 10-minute break and just go sit on the back porch and just close my eyes and just listen and visualize my happy place. For those who've been with us a long time and listened to a lot of episodes, you might know Mike doesn't visualize things. So how do you do virtual? Like you just said, your brain can be your happy place, but how do you do virtual happy place? What is the experience for who?
I think that it's that the place isn't important when I get to that mental state. So it doesn't matter if I am sitting here in my office or I'm on a bus, headed for Nebraska. That's weird.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah. But it doesn't matter if my brain is clicking and I get I've been this whole week, the last 2 weeks, or the last week and a half, I've been sitting in my car in my passenger seat for lunch breaks, typing away on my computer, and that's been my passenger seat has been my happy place for a week because I'm writing, you know what I mean? And so it's not, it's just like anything else where I've kind of adapted to I don't need to. I don't need to because I can't picture things. There has been a slight breakthrough on the aphantasia front. I was intoxicated recently and was closing my eyes, and I was like, "Picture red, picture red, picture red," and I saw the colors changed red. So,
that's $10. Look, hello, Belle's here to say hello. Say hello.
Oh, it's a different cat's butthole today.
It's Belladonna.
Oh, I remember Belladonna. When I was 19 or 20, she was real big on the scene, and she was hardcore.
Yeah.
So,
and Belladonna pussy running around all the time.
Has any of this episode been for the regular feed so far? We are
mountains, beach.
We're 18 minutes in. Anyway, I'll leave the Belladonna thing in because who gives a fuck?
Leave my cat alone, pervert.
Hey, you're the one who wanted to lick its butthole.
No, not hers. This is Leah's cat. Athena's my cat.
Okay.
I don't need strange when it comes to cats.
We're
gonna have to babysit a cat. We're gonna have to cat sit over Christmas time because my son, who lives in Charlotte, his best friend is moving to Germany and giving his cat to my son and his wife, and they're coming up. They're going to Saudi Arabia for Christmas, so they're going to come here and drop the cat off. we already have 3 cats, so the cat's gonna be like locked in the front room, like in our guest room, with its own litter box and food. We're gonna have to like go in that room to give it attention while it probably hisses and screams back and forth through the French doors, with big nice glass windows, so they can see the cats can see each other and be like, why is there a stranger? Why is there more strange in our house?
Yeah. So one thought before I get on to the next thing. So Saudi Arabia for Christmas, I'm assuming that's just because there is time available, not because they.
Yeah, no holiday celebrations. Just they
Yeah.
work for an American company that has time off on Christmas.
Yeah,
They
now
both
that
do.
makes sense. I just didn't know because Christmas has become secularized a decent
Not in
amount,
Saudi.
but that was what I was thinking was that it
Yeah.
probably hasn't in Saudi, but
Yeah, we do not celebrate Christmas in any way other than to watch Doctor Who, and there's a Doctor Who special, which there will be this year for the first time in years, and have Chinese food, which started out as a reality of it's the only place you can get takeout. Back in the old days, probably other
yeah,
places like Indian places and other ethnic places you can now, but back in the 70s and 80s, only Chinese restaurants were open on Sunday on Christmas Day, and now it's more of a fun tradition. Let's have Chinese food because it's Christmas, but we don't.
yeah,
Because neither my wife nor I have a Christmas background, like we're a mixed marriage of Jewish and Hindu, and mix those together, and you
Jindu,
get atheist. No, it's Hindu.
Hindu. Oh, that sounds way
Hindu.
cooler.
Yeah, I know. You need a little oil, or your Hindus squeak. Yeah, so the kids grew up telling, like in school, they would be like, "We're Hindu," and the teacher's like, "What?" They have to explain.
Nice.
And yeah.
So
Leah Leah was so cute. She'd always say, "I'm not going to out myself as an atheist this year. I'm not doing it." And then whenever they did getting to know you stuff, she's like, "I'm an atheist." Like the first thing. So it was like in
nice.
7th grade, I think she wrote a paper saying, I should write a poem about herself. And she's like, I am this, I am this, I am from this. She's like, I am an atheist from Hindu and Jewish families, something like that.
So the next question, which was kind of related to Christmas specific, well, not Christmas specifically, but it kind of branches off from that, is do you have seasonal happy places? Because I think that's a reasonable thing. Like I think, I,
Not currently, but let me tell you a little story.
okay,
Back when I first moved to North Carolina, I had an aching in my gut for New York City. I miss New York all the time. Like the first 10 years I was here, and I would get seasonal depression in the wintertime a lot. And one of the few things that would make me feel better was going back to New York. I was able to go visit New York, but not the entire state. No, not even the entire city. No. What I really liked was to go to almost any point in Manhattan and literally run down the street. Like to run through the streets of Manhattan gave me such a feeling of exhilaration. And I used to love that. Like that was like, I felt like I was free in New York City when I would just run through the city. I'm not in good shape, so it was only 2 or 3 blocks, but that's all it took to really get like, I feel like part of the city and feel the rhythm of the city just by doing that.
nice. So I am I'm not really into winter. I don't love it, and I don't love the weather. I do not love the holidays. I get kind of frustrated with the fact that we have to do certain things, and they all seem to involve being, fucking cold. So Sarah and I have been talking for years about we should go away somewhere cool and new for New Year's. Because we can never skip Christmas. Christmas is not going to be skippable. We have to be with her family or my family or a little bit of both to some extent on Christmas, but nobody gives a fuck about New Year's, right? So, but like there's you might get good fireworks. There's like cool things at certain spots in New Year's. So we'd been talking about it for years, and I said like, we would dream about like, oh, what if we were in Disney? What if we were in Paris? What if we did this? And so almost 2 years ago, we booked tickets to Hawaii, and I was like, the reason that came up was I was looking constantly, and I was like, I wonder if these will be even remotely reasonable around New Year's, because that would be cool. And then you can use half your vacation in one year and half your vacation in the other, so you're not like, so you're splitting up your vacation time a bit. And so I kept looking and finally Google, because you can only book a certain amount out on, and so we finally get to that point in like February of 22 where we could book for New Year's ish, and it was like ridiculous. I think it was 1250 for the 3 tickets round trip, and I was like, "Fuck yes!" And now, having done Hawaii, we were in Hawaii December 28th to January 6th last year, or January 5th. I want to do something like that every year, and that's not specifically the place, but I want to go somewhere tropical and warm right after we've gone up to Massachusetts and froze our nutsacks off, because it's just so nice. And people by January, February, beginning of March, people are like getting more into like, now I've been in winter long enough. But for me, by the time we get to end of December, I'm like, fuck winter, I'm done. And so like I am already in that mode, so we can go ahead of the other crowds who are waiting till later in the winter. And doesn't have to be Hawaii. I loved Hawaii. We're going back in March, not in January. But I do think like if I had the money and the time, I would go away right after Christmas somewhere nice every year, somewhere like warm weather, nice every single year.
Nice. We, for a long time, did like Myrtle Beach every other year at Christmas. And it's not tropical, obviously, Christmas by any means, but it's usually like in the 70s, you know? So it was just pleasant and super not, we do Christmas to New Year's like that week. And it's super not crowded. Like half the places are closed, but half the places are open. And Myrtle Beach is all places, like it's all it is. So there's plenty of, half the breakfast places are closed, but that leaves only 1,000 breakfast places to go to, and but it wasn't crowded was the key. It was like you can walk around and go to the shopping things and actually hang out and look, and you're not bustling people shoulder to shoulder like you are if you go in August.
When I was in Massachusetts, this is before I met Sarah. I had a friend that I worked with at Verizon, and he went down one time with a couple friends to Myrtle Beach for like a long weekend or something, and he went to the strip club and basically like he was.
Did you see guys or girls?
Girls.
Because I had a guy friend, like a guy from high school friend who stripped in Myrtle Beach for a while, but it's a guy. But,
yeah, no, this guy was like
cool.
This guy was 30, had never really been in a relationship. I think that he was likely a virgin. But he went. Nice.
Organ transplants.
For a second, I thought you were just saying like he's a virgin, so he must be cutting, and I was like, that's a dark joke. Okay.
No, I prefer Weird Al to Madonna.
Yeah. So
sexually, musically, she's better. But
yeah. So
anyway,
he went to the strip club, fell head over heels for the stripper, and he would like always be like, hey, can you drive me to the airport? And I'd like, so I drove him to the airport. Over the course of a year, I drove him like 5 times, and I'd be like, because he was well off, and I'd be like, where are you going this time?
Hadn't spent money on a date in 30 years.
Myrtle Beach, and yeah, that's true. And I'd be like, well, like, why are your friends going? And he goes, no, I'm just going to see. And then like he would say he would say her name, and I'm like, dude, that's her stripper name. You don't even know her real name. And he's like, I know what it is. I know what the relationship is, but like, I like her, and I'm like it's never going to be.
We have clubs here local. You can find a girl local that you can go spend money to stare at. I haven't been to a club there, but I can't imagine South Carolina is full.
Yeah, that's true. Although, it's funny. A couple of years ago, my friend used to be my friend. I would say that we've kind of not fallen out, but we just don't like talk at all anymore. But a few years ago, he was saying we were talking about like states, and I was like, you guys would love it down here in North Carolina. And he goes, if I was going to live anywhere in the country, it'd be South Carolina. It's the freest state. And I was like, I mean, except for like they're trying to do stuff with abortion laws, and like there's so like every law that you can think of. It's like every law that Republicans don't like that you can think of that is a freedom thing. So like including the right to get naked. Yeah, like nope, South Carolina doesn't. You looking it up?
Yeah, I'm curious.
You finding pictures?
No, there is full nude, according to this. I'm having like a
Nice.
Reddit thread where someone's saying, on King Street, you take a pick between a cabaret where the girls are wearing tops and bottoms. There's another club with the bottoms only, and there's one that's full nude. The bonus of the full nudity is it's bring your own beer, or BYOB, bring your bottle. And they're open till 4 a.m. Huh.
All right, let's talk about some
The mainstream
stuff, so we actually have a feed for the actual the people who are just listening and not contributing money.
So have you ever had a stressful week where you just said, screw it, I'm taking off a long weekend or taking off next week and just going to a happy place? Like, we're going to the beach. We're just going. Or we're going to the mountains. We're just getting out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. We do. Sarah will do that. A lot of times,
Get away from
she'll have a long week and she'll be like, well, let's go to the beach. And I'm like, come on, because it's not inconvenient to go to the beach here, but it is kind of like, if you're not packing up to go overnight, it's kind of like, all right, we're going to be in the car all fucking day.
Yeah, we've done we're getting up at 6 tomorrow morning and driving to the beach, having breakfast at the beach, with breakfast at 10 or whatever, at the beach, or depending which beach you're going to, obviously, and spending just the day at the beach, having lunch somewhere, catching some dinner, and then driving back home.
Yeah,
we've done that because Madhavi just needed a day at the beach. Or even worse, she was craving Calabash style seafood. So I want to go to the beach. Like, well, there's a good place right here on Highway 55. No. I want it on the beach. Let's go. I want seafood on the beach. We got to the beach to have fried shrimp, on the beach.
Nice. Baby. Oh my God. So the other day, Logan asked us to play the most annoying song we could think of.
Achy Breaky Heart.
I don't think Achy Breaky Heart's that annoying. I think that it's become too much of a joke. It's a pretty good song.
It's good if you're line dancing. If you're not, but okay, yeah.
Anyway, so I put on
that song, that Achy Breaky song.
I put on Tub Thumping, and we get to, like, I don't know, 3 out of 4 minutes or 3 out of 5 minutes. I don't know. It's way longer than I remembered, and it's just I get knocked down and I get up again. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ! I was like, this is
I want a whiskey drink. I like that song.
Yeah, it's good like once, but then so we played it for him, and he's like, this is annoying. Yes, because he was excited about that, and I was like, you want another? I said, I love this song, but this song's annoying too. And I put on Ice Ice Baby. And, I know every word to Ice Ice Baby, but I also know every word to the Jim Carrey version from In Living Color. And I was like, and I was like telling Sarah, I'm like, is it bad that I haven't seen that sketch in like probably close to 30 years, and I can still do all of it? Like, when's it gonna stop? Maybe never. I become richer with every endeavor. And mix it like Curly and Larry and Moe. Whoop, 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 ayo.
I am not a fan of the modern day Dennis Miller, but when Vanilla Ice was musical guest on SNL, and he did Ice Ice Baby, of course, because that was the hit. They went to commercial. They came back from the commercial to Weekend Update. And, Dennis Miller's Weekend Update used to start with music playing and the dancing Statue of Liberty, that kind of like groove to whatever the music was, comes back to dun 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 dun, and the thing is dun dun dun, and then as the camera zooms into Dennis Miller, Bowie's voice comes on. Pressure coming down on me, and the audience goes nuts. And he's there tapping his pencil, and he goes, "In Bowie, great." Place goes nuts again, and he goes, you could re-release that song today, and I bet it would go to number 1. I was like, that was cold when that Ice is backstage right now.
Yep. Yeah. Have you ever seen, there's an interview, and I think Vanilla Ice has
his went bump, 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 but a bum. Ours went bump, but a bump, bum.
Yeah. Every time I watch that clip, I'm like, I literally don't hear the difference between what you're talking about.
You're playing a recording of the song. It's not like you had a band playing it live.
Which I gave them these 2 pictures to find the differences.
Corporate wants us to know the difference in these 2 bass runs.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dennis Miller, I think, I I've seen clips of him on Saturday Night Live, and I think here's the difference. I know that it probably feels like he's a Republican now, and that's part of the problem.
He's an arch libertarian, not even a Republican.
Yeah, but I think the real problem is that he used to have comedy writers, and he doesn't anymore. I genuinely think that, because I don't think he's funny. I think his delivery works if you have genuinely funny people writing for it.
Well, he was also, yeah. I mean, delivery is really big for him because he wasn't as original, creative, or well, not just creative, but as improvisational as he seemed. Because he used to have a talk show, and we watched his talk show, and he made the same obscure references all the time. Yeah. So, like, the first time someone says something like, well, I had a dream, and he goes, okay, Kikwe. Like, wow, what a deep cut, a Moby Dick dream reference. But the third time he says it, you go, oh, that's just what he says when someone mentions the word dream. Like, it's not nearly as creative as it seemed like, or it was creative the first time, I guess, but it's not witty. It's just, this is my response. I carefully scripted this response for this situation.
He's a sarcastic NPC.
Yeah. It's like playing Skyrim. Yes, I don't get to the Cloud District. Goodbye, Dennis Miller.
Anyway. So, we have probably 7 minutes of usual podcast.
No, we talked plenty without the sex talk.
That will 100% be cut from the non-Patreon feeds.
$10 enough.
We're going to have like 3 minutes. We're going to have 3 minutes of
That's
feed.
the 5 shekels and up feed, right? That one.
Oh, shekels. Heckles for shekels. That's the name of this week's Scathing.
I haven't listened to Scathing yet.
Oh, the
Diatribe's good. I've understood.
Diatribe's good. Although it's hard to tell because Diatribe last week was I was crying driving from the gym to work last Thursday because I didn't know that he had had a heart attack, and so I always put on the Diatribe on my way from the gym to work because it's like
suddenly it's an Eliatribe.
It's the perfect amount, and they said something like in the Eliatribe, and I don't know jack shit about what's about to happen, and then he's like, so
those of you on Facebook know.
Yeah, he's like, so Noah had a heart attack, and I'm just like, holy crap. And I was like, it was tough.
Yeah, if you were on Facebook, then you knew he was home already before it was released, but
yeah.
All right,
so happy places. I really get this. I
think it's time to wrap up. It's time to wrap up, baby.
Well, we do not have a full show's worth.
I've got another call in 7 minutes.
Okay, well, all right. So let's start wrapping it up.
What more is there to say about happy places?
I'll leave some of the bad shit in.
Just get up to gets close to the punch, the bad stuff, and stop and say and do a voiceover that says, "For the rest."
And
of
then
the story,
she put her
Patreon. They pop the video in, and
all right.
For the rest of this story, get the Patreon feed.
Yep. All right. So thank you, listeners, for listening. That was great of you. We appreciate it.
Very brave.
If you are watching us on the YouTubes, please hit the like, the subscribe,
ring that
share
bell
it,
for notifications.
ring the bell for notifications. Do all the shit. You know what to do. We've been yelled at for 20 years, or 18 years since YouTube started. Do that stuff. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, give us a subscribe. Give us a review. If you want, for $3 a month, you can subscribe and you can get a good portion of the uncensored version. The $10 version is just kind of like, some of the $10 version is real wild, but the $3 version is a good balance of the stuff you love and chaos, in a good way. So,
for those of you on YouTube, check out Jets Chaos, my brother's Jets football station. A little bit of chaos for you.
And then the last thing is, if you are listening on other podcast platforms, Spotify, Google, whatever, they all have their own different thing. You know what to do. Hit the like, the subscribe, whatever buttons they have. If you can give us a review on those, give us a review. If you can give us a thumbs up, whatever they have, please do that. It helps us. And try to make sure, even if you're not listening, try to make sure that it's downloading every week. It's helping us if you do that. And by helping us, we can actually make better content for you. So
Yeah, and frankly,
that.
you can go and create an iTunes account and go on iTunes and rate us, even if you don't use iTunes to listen to the podcast. If you're listening on some other app, you can still go on iTunes and give us a 5-star review.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I do for the podcasts I like.
Yeah.
Not this one.
All right.
But the ones I like.
Yeah, not this one, because I don't think you listen to this one. So, all right, Matthew, you got anything?
I got 2 things. One for normies and one for the Patreons. For the normies, hey, thanks for coming by and listening to us talk about the big stuff in your happy place.
The preceding podcast has been a Chocolate Diamond Media LLC production. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.